You tuned into the right place. Welcome to the rain. Golden Queuing. H2.0. Yeah. You're looking for a diamond, found a treasure in the rough. Tired of all the noise, cause you finally had enough. I'm here to build a movement on a mission for the nation. Dropping gems of knowledge, killing all the hesitation. We fighting for the truth, yeah, we fighting for what's right. Building unity and shining up a brand new light. It's a variety channel, but the vision's crystal clear. Pushing us all forward, conquering the doubt and fear. Welcome to the Queendom, H2.0 on your screen, where the content's real and smart and funny in between. This is more than just a stream, it's a platform for the change. Time to elevate the game and rearrange. If you're ready for a vibe that you can feel and trust, joining in the movement is a definite must. This ain't just another channel talking smack behind the screen. It's a spotlight for the creators, building up a better scene. Spreading radical love, that's the message in the code. Helping everybody carry up a heavy load. From social justice issues to the laughter that we need. Planting seeds of progress, watch them grow from just a seed. This is authentic, this is raw, this is everything you saw. Welcome to the battle that is truly being fought. Ooh, so come with your respect and see the real effect. Cause I protect my own right here on the throne. Don't make me envy. Unleash the dragon. Subscribe, ring that notification bell. Yeah, you don't wanna miss a thing. Welcome to the family. Yeah. Yeah. They try to bury the truth on the paper stacks. What they make still bleeds. And the sweets talk back. Turn the volume up. This ain't entertainment. This is evidence. Yeah. This is evidence. 3 million pages that ain't rumor, that's weight. Names in the margin, money still in the fate. Silicone smile, sanitized, private planes, same island, same silence, different last names. Files so thick they can't shred them all. Every no comment, just a crack in the wall. They say conspiracy, now it's case numbers. Truth don't age, just waits longer. Gold gates, dark flights, offshore sins. Everybody clean to the paperwork instant. They thought time would erase the stain, but justice patient and the files remain. Receipts on the table, yeah, the lies on track. Can't outrun truth, only stall it a while. They tried to mute us, tried to draw red lines, but the people woke up, this is headline time. Receipts on the table, yeah, the system shake. Every locked door tremble when the real ones speak. No feeling of fame, no script to design. We don't go the truth, we take our lead. Put cuffs on a voice for covering pain. Camera rolling still, they screaming restrain. Anti-ICE protest, truth in the frame. Federal fear when the message don't tame. So just doing your job till the job hit nerve. Ask court dates for what we observe. First I'm in deep, but a race in the street. When the badge get nervous every time we speak. First say there won't be silence, that's not a quote. That's a warning flare in a sinking boat. Free press ain't free when the cost is jail, but the mic stay lit even when they fail. Keeps on the table, yeah, the lies on trial. Can't outrun truth, only stall it a while. They tried to mute us, tried to draw red lines, but the people woke up to this headline time. The risk keeps on the table, yeah, the system shake. Every locked door tremble when the real ones speak. No feel this fake, just break inside. No feel this chill, we take right now. They take God tweeting while the truth gets filmed. Every nigga email it, emails cleansed. While it's parties, yeah, the timestamp loud. Tell it quiet, still talking right now. That's the G, pull the chaps and now on repeat. But the inbox don't lie when the mouth say beat. You can launch your body by the whole square. Still can't outrun questions floating in the air. This ain't cancel culture, this accountability. Same rules for the rich, that's stability. You can't innovate your way out the best when the receipts got screenshots built to last. MAGA cracking like ice under weight when loyalty bends and ambition debates. Caught a miscalculation, now watch the divide. Who mislead themselves when truth on the line. That lies to the cover blown wide. Now it's knives in the back, cameras on live. You don't lose power overnight. You lose it when the base see daylight. This ain't left for right. It's exposed when a hero myths finally decompose. Politics ain't fake. It's a transaction and a bill comes due with public reaction. Small page of power to get you on street ink. 20 years of damage make a mind ring pink. Ain't no excuse harm, but it explains scars and broken men still human behind the bars. Fake not healing, cross chair collapse, call it change. Accountability, gotta walk with grace, or we just feed cycles we claim we hate. Say what you need, but hear this glint. So wounds don't vanish, the spotlight's lit. Only truth and care in a 7 break, or we just run and spell it and behind the bird. Seats on the table, history watching now. Every lie told shaky, wanna be with fair pride. No savers, no king, no smoke, no shrine, just truth in the open under real time light. Receipts on the table, let it echo wide from the streets, ace trains, they can't hide. No cousins in real time alive, this is trending news. I'm a clip at a time. They call it chaos when the truth arrives, but order built on lies was never a lie. So keep the vibes on and keep the cameras rolling, and never apologize for asking questions.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Golden. I'm back with another live, y'all. We got a few updates we need to get into. I hope everybody is having a good day. It is about 11:30 a.m. here, Eastern time in the Carolinas. And child, it is freezing outside. They say we are to be expecting snow. So we'll see if we get that. But whatever respectful time zone you guys are in, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I hope you are having a good day. We're going to go ahead and talk about a few different topics today, y'all. So we got a little bit of political stuff and a little bit of celebrity updates. So we're going to get into all of that. Let me go ahead and give you guys a brief synopsis of what we'll be talking about. So we're going to be breaking down a historic day of news. It really was going off last night, and all this morning, okay? The Epstein Files released causes a total meltdown in DC and Silicon Valley. We also are going to be getting into some happy news. Don Lemon is free. After being arrested by federal agents in LA for his coverage of the January 18th Minnesota church protest, Don Lemon has been released. He is striking a defiant tone, claiming this is a direct attack on the First Amendment, and he will not be silenced. We also going to get into Elon Musk and these Epstein File emails. The DOJ has released 3 million pages of documents. We have the receipts. Emails from 2012 and 2013 show Musk and Epstein discussing wild parties and travel logistics for the island. Also, we'll be getting into Marjorie Taylor Greene's final revenge. Marjorie Taylor Greene has officially split with Donald Trump, y'all know this, over these Epstein File redactions. We'll be discussing her traitor label from Trump and her decision to leave Congress in 2026. And also, y'all, we'll be talking about Kanye West and his medical bombshell. So apparently, Kanye has taken out a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal apologizing to the Jewish and Black communities, citing a 20-year-old brain injury as the cause of his loss of touch with reality. So we're going to be getting into all of those topics on this live right here, y'all. And per usual, y'all know I have some videos and I have some audios for y'all to listen to. So the first one, we're going to go ahead and hear from our boy Don. And I have a video I'm going to show y'all from none other than CNN. Y'all know he used to work there. So it's, it's home. Let's go ahead and get into that. None other than Anderson Cooper. He's going to go ahead and be reporting on this story, and then we'll hear directly from Don Lemon. I am so happy that he is free. He deserves to be free. And he's not standing down and he's not giving up. So let's go ahead and get into this report, y'all, and we'll be right back.
Independent journalist Don Lemon appeared in federal court this afternoon to face charges related to a live streaming report he did at a protest during a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota. Here's what he told reporters afterwards.
Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silent. I look forward to my day in court.
Along with Don Lemon, 3 other people were arrested, including Minnesota independent journalist Georgia Fort. She went before Judge Day. She joins us tonight. We'll have that interview in a moment. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the arrests are connected to a, quote, coordinated attack on City's church nearly 2 weeks ago. But Lemon and Ford say they were doing their jobs as journalists and were not protesters. All 4 arrested are charged with 1 count of conspiracy against right of religious freedom at place of worship, and 1 count of injure, intimidate, and interfere with exercise of right of religious freedom at place of worship. In announcing their arrests on social media this morning, Bondi used the words, quote, at my direction, which is not what you typically see from an attorney general. The White House has posted this photo with the words, when life gives you lemons, along with a chain emoji. President Trump has been critical, obviously, of Don Lemon for years. Lemon himself has not been shy in calling out the president and his administration. A magistrate judge had initially refused to allow federal officials to arrest Lemon and take him into custody, but they took it to a grand jury in Minnesota and got a felony indictment. The indictment, unsealed this afternoon, alleges that Don Lemon and the others charged, quote, oppressed, threatened, and intimidated the church congregants and pastors. Here's some of what Lemon said during that live stream. Take a look.
Work today is broken. Every day, people juggle so many different tools just.
I'm just here, I'm just here photographing.
Are you okay?
I'm not part of the group. I'm just here photographing. I'm a journalist. We don't know. That's what they're saying. So we're here just chronicling and reporting. We're not part of the activists, but we're here just reporting on them.
Don Lemon's attorney released a statement saying, in part, quote, this unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. When agents showed up at Georgia Fort's door yesterday, she started recording. Here's some of her message.
You guys, I wanted to alert the public that agents are at my door right now. This is all stemming from the fact that I filmed a protest as a member of the media. We are supposed to have our constitutional right of the freedom to film, to be a member of the press. I don't feel like I have my First Amendment right as a member of the press. Because now federal agents are at my door arresting me for filming the church protest a few weeks ago.
It was a live stream she did on Facebook. Journalist Georgia Fort is out of jail and joins me tonight. Georgia, first of all, how are you doing? And were you surprised that you were arrested? Obviously, previous attempts to arrest you had been blocked by federal courts.
Yeah, you know, I'm hanging in there. It is quite frightening to have 24 agents outside of your home. You know, my children were home with me when I was arrested. And so, yeah, just it's been a long day. And yes, it was extremely shocking.
You had 24 agents show up at your door?
Yes.
I want to read part of what the Justice Department alleged in the indictment and let you respond. They claim, and you and the other defendants, quote, entered the church in a coordinated takeover-style attack and engaged in acts of oppression, intimidation, threats, interference, and physical obstruction, they said, and, quote, as a result of defendants' conduct, the pastor and congregation were forced to terminate the church's worship service. Congregants fled the church building, fear of for their safety. Other congregants took steps to implement an emergency plan, and young children were left to wonder, as one child put it, if their parents were going to die. What is your reaction to that?
Anderson, I am a journalist, just like you. I went in my capacity as a journalist. I documented as a journalist. The footage is published. It speaks for itself.
You captured video of your own arrest, federal agents outside your home. Can you just talk about that experience?
As journalists, we never want to be the story, but unfortunately, I did find myself in a predicament where I felt that I needed to be able to tell my own story, that I needed the world to see that journalism is on trial, that we are at a state in our nation where if you are documenting what's happening, you may be criminalized for it, you may be arrested. And so I think what is happening in Minnesota overall should be quite alarming to the entire nation. I think what happened to me today as an independent journalist, what happened to Don Lemon being arrested for reporting what's happening, I think people should be alarmed. And I think mainstream media should also be really concerned because if they can criminalize a journalist here in Minnesota, whether you're independent or not, I think that we've seen a track record where this is just going to continue to escalate.
How do you face something like this? I mean, obviously, the federal government has unlimited resources. What is your next move, both legally and just in terms of the work you do?
You know, I am a mother of 3 daughters. Right now, my focus is on making sure that they can recover from the trauma of what they experienced today and making sure that I can recover. From there, I have an incredible legal team, very reputable among media leaders across the country. And so I am counting on them to do what they do best.
You have no doubt that this is meant to intimidate not just yourself and Don Lemon and the others who were charged, but journalists everywhere.
I would ask you, how does it feel to you to see a journalist arrested for simply reporting the news? I would challenge every journalist in America to ask themselves how it felt to them today to see their colleagues be arrested for reporting the news. And if any of them say that it made them fearful, it made them concerned, it made them second guess going out tomorrow and covering what's happening in their communities, then yeah, I would say that that was probably the intent. It does send a chilling message to our entire industry. I've been in journalism for several years. I've been in media almost 2 decades, okay? 14 regional Emmy nominations across 2 different regions. I've won 3 regional Emmys here in the Midwest, producing my own television show as an independent journalist. And so, you know, being a journalist who's from here, who's from Minnesota, I've been on the ground. This is my community. I'm not flying in and flying out. I'm here, and I'm doing the best that I can to tell the stories of what's really happening. And as an American-born citizen, it's always been my understanding that I have that protection under the Constitution, under the First Amendment, that we have a freedom of press. But today, the way that I was treated for simply doing my job, the way that I have been criminalized and dehumanized, it makes me really, really wonder if our Constitution is something of the past and if it's just a thing made up of empty promises at this point, honestly.
Are you intimidated? If that's the objective, which it certainly seems to be?
I will continue to tell the stories of my community.
Georgia Ford, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. So as we can see in that video, this is what I was saying yesterday, and I'll continue to say, we must keep hope alive. These things are all going to pan out and work out for our good. And so we do have good news. We have good news that Georgia, Don, and I believe the two other reporters as well have now been released, as they should have been, and they never should have been detained in the first place. And they have their lawyers in place, and they're going to fight this thing. And so we also need to look at the importance behind what this represents. This is definitely an attack on our amendments, our rights, our freedom to speech, our freedom to report. And we have to understand that it's only going to trickle down. They have these mainstream, journalists, big name journalists that they are attacking and going after. And think about it. If we're reporting on these stories and talking about these things as well, it may be just a matter of time before they try to attack and come after us also. And that's taking away your rights. And it's really taking us back in history. It's not constitutional at all. We talked a lot about this yesterday. We talked about the FACE Act. And we talked about under the FACE Act, none of the charges that Don and them got under the FACE Act really applies. The FACE Act charges really should apply to the ICE agents that are busting down church doors and dragging people out of church services in the middle of church services, throwing them in vans and taking them to detention centers. That is going against the FACE Act. That's disturbing a religious dwelling, a church. So, as we brush up, on our facts and our history and stuff here, and we really dig in deeper as to what a lot of these acts and these laws in place really stand for, what they mean, and who benefits from them and how, then we'll see they are weaponizing these laws and twisting them all around like spaghetti. And it doesn't even apply. But we should be pointing these same acts and these laws towards the ones who are actually breaking them. But anyway, y'all, we got to take a quick song break real quick. Oh, hey, Kim. What's going on, Kim? Said they go after marginalized folks anyways first. The act talks about physical violence, not verbal even. Exactly. And we went over a lot of that yesterday, like breaking down the doors, busting in the windows, tearing up the inside structure of, a religious practice, or, of course, the abortion clinics and stuff like that. That was first, but now it's the religious dwelling. So yeah, physical violence, touching someone, harming someone, hitting someone, abusing someone, pushing them down to the ground, choking them, dragging them, powing them. That all falls under that act. And that's everything that we've seen these ICE agents doing. So my question is, why are they not being held to, the FACE Act? Why are they not being charged under that? But regular journalists that are just out there to report a story, they're getting charged or trying to get the FACE Act applied to them as if they're doing something wrong and disrupting a service. And if you watch that video, the original video with Don Lemon, when he was interviewing not just some of the people that were protesting, but also the church members, they weren't upset. They didn't feel like the service was interrupted. They actually were there to pray and figure out, is there going to be hope for their city and their people, because they don't like seeing what ICE is doing to their city, their community, and the people of Minnesota. And so they turn to religion, they turn to their faith to pray for comfort and for answers to get through it. That's why they were there. So like I said in my live yesterday, both groups were literally on the same page, doing it two different ways, but still same meaning at the heart. They're not happy with how things have been happening in Minneapolis and in Minnesota. So, you know what I mean? Anyway, y'all, let's take this quick song break and I'll be right back, y'all. after we come back from this song break, we're going to get into the Epstein Files findings. And, well, Sir Elon pops up in those. So we'll get into that in just a moment. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I'll be right back.
On the bill is looking faded and frayed. The fourth estate is corporate owned and heavily paid. They're trading in the facts for a narrative fabricated. If you leak the truth, you get deleted and degraded. Look, the teleprompter's glowing with the scripted out deception. A digital infection to manipulate perception. They steer the conversation in a singular direction, while the First Amendment's dying with no hope of resurrection. It's a manufactured crisis, yeah, they're selling us the fear. Whispering the lies until it's all the people here. They call it fact checking just to keep the vision blurry, while they bury every whistleblower in a frantic hurry. Silence in the streets, silence in the booth. A total moratorium on anyone with truth. They're tearing out the pages, yeah, they're burning down the fence. A war against the people and against our common sense. It's the sound of the silence. It's heavy and it's cold. It's the sound of the silence. It's heavy and it's cold. Check the independent outlets, yeah, they're catching all the heat. The ones who skip the press release and actually hit the beat. But the algorithms weaponize, the reach is getting throttled. The spirit of the journalist is suffocated bottle. They shadow ban the brave and they platform the fake. It's a psychological game with the highest of stakes. If you don't toe the line, then they label you a threat, putting filters on your mouth like a suffocating net. They claim they're stopping harm, but they're only stopping thought. Democracy is auctioned and the airwaves have been bought. The gatekeepers are frantic, they're losing their control, so they're trying to put a padlock on the collective soul. They're cutting the wires, they're pulling the plugs, treating the seekers of truth like the thugs. From the boardrooms to the courtrooms, the pressure is rising. The death of the discourse of what they're devising. The spark in the dark is a beautiful thing. Let the bells of the rebels and dissidents ring. Of peace if the cost is your tongue. The songs of the ancestors are waiting to be sung. They want us quiet, compliant, and staring at the floor while they're locking up the exits and they're bolting every door. But the truth is a frequency they can't fully jam. I'm a man with a mind, I'm not a ghost in their program. No more silence. The loudest thing in the world is the truth they try to hide. Keep the mic on, keep the eyes open.
All right, y'all. So we're back from that quick song break. We're going to go ahead and get into the next video. So let me go ahead and pull this up. This is also reporting from CNN and Anderson Cooper. This is the Epstein Files key findings. Musk discussed visiting the island in 2013. There are a few documents in there that actually prove that Elon Musk spent a lot of time on Epstein Island and was there and part of it. So we're going to go ahead and get allegedly, we're going to go ahead and get into these reportings, y'all. But as the files are coming out, more and more people, are being exposed that participated and they were there and very complacent with being so. So let's go ahead and get into this report real quick, y'all. And then I'll meet y'all in the chat per usual. But yeah, more than 3 million pages from the Epstein Files have now been released. Let's take a look at this report.
He took the fifth during a 2016 deposition when asked more than a dozen questions about former President Clinton. Among them, several about whether Mr. Clinton... Well, the files also show that Epstein repeatedly took the fifth during a 2016 deposition when asked more than a dozen questions about former President Clinton. Among them, several about whether Mr. Clinton visited Epstein's private island and flew in his private plane. The former president has denied ever having visited the island. So has Elon Musk, yet the files contain at least 2 emails discussing just that. In one from the 24th of November 2012, Epstein writes, "How many people will you be for the heli to island?" Musk responded the next day that it would probably just be him and his then wife, adding, quote, "What day/night will be the wildest party on our island?" A year later, Musk wrote Epstein saying, quote, "We'll be in the BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays." BVI's British Virgin Islands. "Is there a good time to visit?" To which Epstein replied, "Always space for you." It's unclear if that or the other visit took place. Representatives for Musk did not immediately respond to a request for comment about the new emails. And Musk in 2019 told Vanity Fair, quote, "He tried repeatedly to get me to visit his island. I declined." Now, Musk, you'll recall, famously posted this during his beef with the president this year, quote, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Trump is in the Epstein files." Minutes later, he followed up with, quote, "Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out." Now, keeping him honest, that's kind of hard to do. He seems to have taken the post down along with the first one. Also in the files, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who famously said he'd broken ties with Epstein in 2005, vowing to, quote, "never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again." The files, though, reveal Lutnick or his wife, Allison, were in touch with Epstein as recently as 2012. In an email from Allison Lutnick in November of that year, she writes, quote, "We are looking forward to visiting you," adding, "We are traveling on a yacht called Excellence, and I am CCing the captain." A spokesperson for the Commerce Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment. So a lot to talk about tonight. Starting us off, CNN Chief Legal Affairs correspondent Paula Reed. She's been going through the documents all day. So what stands out to you from the documents you've reviewed so far?
So the document that really stands out at this point is this list of accusations against President Trump, because the FBI compiled this list last summer. And this is a lot of the kind of information that investigators gather when they're looking at whether charges should potentially be pursued. For example, they're looking at unverified tips. Some include secondhand information that came through a tip line. It appears the FBI followed up on some tips. At least one was found to be unverified. But this is the kind of information they collect, but do not usually make public if there are no charges brought in a case. Now, of course, President Trump has always denied any wrongdoing connected to Epstein. But there are a lot of questions that are raised here. First of all, why did the FBI make this list of accusations specifically relevant to President Trump, though President Bill Clinton was also mentioned in there? The document was also taken down at least twice today. Last time I checked, Anderson, it was back up. But this list of allegations will likely prompt more questions for the Justice Department and the White House, even though this release is, of course, part of an effort to try to tamp all this down.
Trump in the Epstein files. The Justice Department releasing millions of new pages of documents from the Epstein files, and among them is a list that Trump's own Justice Department compiled, his own Justice Department. This list details a list of sexual assault allegations related to the president. Now, this list was released this morning as part of this document dump, but then suddenly disappeared from the Justice Department's website. That was noticed, called out, that got posted again. The administration claims that that snafu was because the site got overloaded. Now, many of the allegations appear to have come from unverified tips. Some are incredibly graphic and disgusting and upsetting, frankly. The files also today released included a complaint from a woman who accused Trump of raping her in 1994 when she was 13 years old. According to the complaint, the woman identified as Jane Doe claims, quote, Epstein was angry that Trump was the one to take Doe's virginity and then went on to rape Doe. That's just disgusting and depraved. It goes on in graphic detail. These descriptions do mirror the allegations of Jane Doe made in her 2016 lawsuit against Trump, a lawsuit that was eventually dropped. Now, at the time, Trump denied the allegations, his attorney telling Politico it is categorically untrue, it is completely frivolous, it is baseless, it is irresponsible. I won't even discuss the merits because it gives it credibility it doesn't deserve. And Trump's DOJ, again, stressing, quote, this production may include fake or falsely submitted images, documents, or videos, as everything that was sent to the FBI by the public was included in the production that is responsive to the act, referring to the act of Congress forcing them to release these files, of which this chunk they're releasing, of course, is a month after the deadline. And while Trump is not accused of any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein at this time, he has fought vehemently and obsessively against the release of the files, lashing out at reporters who have pressed him for a long, long time on why his Justice Department has been so slow to release anything.
To the point where literally I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Quiet. When you talk about the Epstein hoax, it's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a Democrat hoax.
Joining us now is Virginia Democratic Congressman James Walkinshaw, who sits on the House Oversight Committee. So, Congressman, the ranking Democrat on the Oversight Committee, Congressman Robert Garcia, released this blistering statement after the files were released, saying, in quote, in part, "We are demanding the names of Epstein's co-conspirators and the men and pedophiles who abused women and girls." Do you accept the government's explanation for the redactions they've made?
No, I don't. I mean, look, the Trump administration and the Department of Justice has slow rolled this release at every turn. Today, they released 3 million of the 6 million documents we know they have. We know they have 6 million because they said it. They released 50% of the documents, and the 50% we have today are heavily redacted. So they continue to cover up the full truth that's in the file. So we're going to continue to push. The Oversight Committee's investigation will continue throughout this Congress and into the next Congress, I suspect. We're not going to stop until we get the transparency that the survivors are demanding.
I mean, some of the claims in some of these files are I mean, pretty bizarre and don't sound very credible. In your view, should the general public, and what should the general public take away from these files? How are people supposed to know what's credible and what isn't?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. And, you know, there are a number of uncorroborated or perhaps unverified allegations against President Trump there. And I think what I would say is all of that deserves additional scrutiny. Some of them have been revealed publicly in the past and perhaps have limited credibility, but all of them should be explored. You know, the Oversight Committee in the coming weeks, we're going to be deposing Jeffrey Epstein's accountant, his attorneys, the attorneys for his estate. So we're going to continue to ask questions. And I think this release, although limited, not what the law requires, this release will provide information to guide our questioning as we move forward.
Among the materials that the Deputy Attorney General Blanche said were withheld from this release were files that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. Is it clear to you what investigative avenues remain at this point, or if there are any active federal investigations ongoing into this?
I have no insight into the active investigations that the Department of Justice might be engaged in. Obviously, we know President Trump has done what he has done repeatedly and directed the Department of Justice to investigate his political opponents or Democrats with respect to Epstein. I hope that's not the path they're doing. If there are real legitimate investigations based on what they've learned in the files, those should proceed without any interference or involvement from President Trump.
And as we mentioned, the Deputy Attorney General Blanche said that unredacted files would be made available to lawmakers who coordinate with the Department of Justice. Is there a plan to do that? I mean, obviously, it's a lot of files. Is that even possible?
I know that Congressman Khanna and Massey have written a letter asking to review those unredacted files. I think the Democrats on the Oversight Committee and hopefully Republicans as well will be talking about how we can coordinate to review those unredacted files. I certainly want to understand what's been redacted and more importantly, why.
Congressman James Walkinshaw, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, y'all. So that was the reports of what we have come up with now, where we are now, as far as the Epstein files, who is in there and what has been done. There's also going to be some helplines that I'll be posting in the chat here for anyone, whether you've been a victim within the Epstein situation or a victim, period. There are helplines out there that you can call if you need any, like mental help, psychological help, after traumas, any advice, any resources, anything like that. I'll be posting that in the chat because we want to remember that this is very important. There are so many survivors. And I know some people prefer to be called survivors opposed to victims, but victims and survivors of these exact type of things and other things as well. And so We want to make sure that people are getting the proper resources and help and support that they need if they have been in an experience like this. And it is hard sometimes when you have to report on these stories, or you're talking about, or you're bringing it to the forefront. We do this for the survivors because we don't want these stories and their experiences to be swept under the rug. We don't want to be distracted away from them because it's too important. And these people deserve justice. And so, you know, we don't want this to just go away and be washed away and just be yesterday's news, because justice has not been served for the survivors of this particular situation and others that also may have similar situations in their own lives in their own way that are seeking and needing justice as well. None of this is ever okay. Now, I did want to play an audio for y'all real quick that ties into, you know, just the amount of lies, the lies that clearly comes out of Trump's mouth and a lot of this administration's mouth. They tell bold-faced lies, and we're getting sick of it. And so I want y'all to hear this audio. I'm going to go ahead and put this up. Give me just a few minutes to get it set up. But it is disgusting. So yes, viewer discretion is advised. Listener discretion is advised. But y'all may remember this audio. Y'all may remember that these people sometimes, they will say things out of their own mouth. And then they'll sit up there and lie to you and tell you that this is not the case. Things that you hear is not true. Things that's being reported on is not true. But they confess themselves. So y'all, let's listen to this quick video real quick. It's not that long, about 8 minutes. And then I'll meet y'all in the comments, okay?
And to cover up and distract from the Epstein files. But it is ultimately backfired because the reports about what has happened in the FBI to sort Donald Trump's name out and to protect him at all costs is blowing up in his face. And because he is hiding what's in those documents, what's not in those documents, new testimony and unearthed recordings are coming out like Trump could have never expected. And that is exactly what we saw in an unearthed clip of Trump talking about a 12-year-old girl that we are going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into this unearthed audio clip, I first want to start with someone who delivered a perfect takedown of this notion, this narrative that Democrats are somehow responsible for not releasing the files. It was Senator Amy Klobuchar right here.
It's true that the president says there Democrats didn't really seem to do anything about the Epstein files throughout the 4 years
of the Biden administration. I mean, should you have? You sit on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Marsha Blackburn for years has been trying to get flight records and other information about Epstein released, and she seems to have been the only one on that committee trying to do so.
So the president blaming Democrats for this disaster, Jake, is like that CEO that got caught on camera blaming Coldplay, okay? Like, this is his making. He was president when Epstein got indicted for these charges and went to prison. He was president when Epstein committed suicide. And then there was another case, as you know, that continued during the Biden administration. But he was president back then. So all of us would believe they know what's in these documents. They know it's there. They've been claiming forever that they should be released. And it is the Trump administration that gave a bunch of binders that said Volume 1 to reporters just in the last month. It is the Trump administration that has made this promise that they're going to release it. So I am blaming Democrats for this. To me, I'm sorry, this is the people that have been fomenting this are right-wing influencers, members of Congress, people who have a reason that they want to know what's in there. They believe the president when he said there's stuff in there that people should see. Wall Street Journal, these are not bastions of liberalism or wild progressives that have come out and said the public have a right to know what is in these documents.
What a ridiculous question from Jake Tapper. It's Democrats' fault for what? Successfully prosecuting Ghislaine Maxwell under the Biden administration for not playing political games with victims who had their lives ruined like Donald Trump is. That's what's happening here. It has been political exploitation from Donald Trump. He took something real that happened, the crimes of Epstein, decided to blow it up as some conspiracy for his own gain. It's why it is backfiring, especially when we get more testimony on their relationship, like we heard from this account from Michael Wolff.
I mean, Epstein would often recount his experiences with women, hunting women, pursuing women with Trump, including that at one point in their relationship, they shared a girlfriend for, I think, the better part of a year. But there was, in lots of detail about Trump's relationships with women that Epstein had observed. A matter of fact, Epstein regarded Trump's relationship with women as, as somehow, I mean, as far worse than his own. So at one memorable moment of an operatic instance of the pot calling the kettle black, Epstein said to me, "The problem with Donald Trump is that he has no scruples."
And coming from Jeffrey Epstein, right?
There you go.
We have heard Michael Wolff, who is one of the many Trump biographers, give very detailed descriptions of interactions he had with Jeffrey Epstein surrounding Trump. But the fact that Epstein would say that Trump was more of a degenerate is just disturbing to even think about. And we can certainly see that in this unearthed clip of him appearing on Howard Stern and talking about the lower age bracket he's comfortable with. Trump's stunning response when asked if he has a sexual age limit resurfaces as Epstein mania boils.
What is the best thing about being Donald Trump right now? Well, other than the fact I'm married, okay? Right. And I'm very happily married. I have a great wife. But if I weren't married, I'd be able to get all of the girls I want, except for possibly Robin.
Do you think you could now be banging 24-year-olds?
Oh, absolutely. I have no trouble.
Would you do it?
I have no problem.
Yeah. Do you have an age limit, or would you?
No, I have no age. I mean, I have an age. I don't want to be
the
like
upper bracket, yeah.
Foley with 12-year-olds.
Can I make a prediction for you?
Yes.
I say you have one more marriage in you.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. I'm sure Melania will love to hear it.
Wow, Donald, do you want a medal? 12 is a little too young for you, but you don't have a problem with 13, 14, the pageant queens that you like to hang around so much. In video we saw come to light from Midas Touch. just incredibly disturbing stuff, and the lack of care, the cavalier nature he talks about this just really, really does disturb in this new light. It disturbs in any light, but especially now. And we know Trump talked about dating younger women. He did date younger women. But those clips of the pageants of him with Epstein, of accounts of a 16-year-old being in his office and Epstein saying, that one's not for you. I don't know how you couldn't ask questions. And I don't know how you couldn't think that 2019 is when Donald Trump started covering this up. The Epstein files didn't just start under this administration. They didn't just start pulling documents. Things have been taking place. Things have been covered up for a while. And it is why it's so important that all this comes to light. And it's why Jamie Raskin is calling for it right here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ambassador DeBaca, is there anything illegal about not-for-profit spending money on a priority that a government agency or department also has? And I'll give you an example. The Gates Foundation has spent $30 billion to advance vaccines, both research and spreading vaccines around the world. USAID spent $3 billion over the last decade on that. Is that either illegal or unusual that you would have a convergence of the not-for-profit philanthropic sector with a governmental priority?
It's not illegal, and in fact, it is a best practice so that you can extend both the governmental and the philanthropic spending.
And presumably we could expect the same thing under R.F. Kennedy Jr., who opposes vaccines. He opposes vaccine research. He wants to stop vaccine programs, and presumably he's going to, all of the same people that he just packed the advisory committee with will be getting grants to go and try to stop vaccine research. And as our colleagues constantly say, that's elections count. Elections matter, and RFK Jr. is in there. So there's not much that can be do about it. We can have a hearing lamenting it and bewailing it. I'd much rather have money going into promoting vaccine research and distribution than opposing it, but that's the difference between our two parties. Is there anything illegal about people in not-for-profits going to work in the federal government in a new administration?
No, sir.
In fact, a great example of that is this guy, Ed Martin, who was for a while the acting U.S. attorney in the District of Columbia. They were forced to withdraw his nomination when it turned out that his close friend is a neo-Nazi who dresses up like Adolf Hitler. And they just switched over to appointing him to a non-confirmable position in the Department of Justice, believe it or not, running the task force on weaponization. But in any event, he ran something called the Patriot Freedom Project, which is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization that supported January 6 defendants and their families, more than 100 criminal defendants, including people who violently assaulted our police officers, wounding them, injuring them, disfiguring them, permanently disabling them. And then he went into the government, and he's had close ties. In fact, he dismissed some of the prosecutions against these people, and they have fired lots of January 6 prosecutors. That looks like a really tight little revolving door channel. And it's not just him. In fact, they hired an actual January 6 insurrectionist who was convicted of crimes to go work for him at that same entity in the Department of Justice. As much as we might hate it, as much as we might think the American people should know about it, that the criminals in this soft on crime administration are taking over at the Department of Justice, it's hard to say that there's anything illegal about it, right? So if somebody goes from working at the Gates Foundation or the Open Society Institute at the State Department, is there anything illegal or criminal about that? Is there anything that should cause public alarm in the way these gentlemen are trying to stimulate it?
No, sir.
Well,
$76 per hour. That's how much the...
In fact, is there anything illegal about the government, if it's spending funds appropriately, giving to organizations that other people disagree with? I think some of the witnesses were saying the vast majority of people disagree with it, which of course our colleagues would answer by saying that's what elections are for. In other
words, saga, which more than anything shows how little MAGA has really cared. I know that they are saying that they want the transparency, they want the files to come out. But how have you not cared this whole time? Well, you certainly have. Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein was raised by Democrats in 2020, in 2016, before we even knew anything. We didn't play political games with conspiracy, though. Joe Biden wasn't calling on Merrick Garland to stop acting independently as the Attorney General. Certainly Pam Bondi's doing so, but how can you just notice now? Ugh. Well, we're going to keep covering it. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you.
All right, y'all. So I wanted to bring up that report right there, so you can hear from his own mouth just the nasty word that this man says and has said over years of time. And there never seems to be any type of resolve, when it comes to the things that he does and the things that he says. It's like it goes in one ear and out the other. With some people, I know us that are here, we listen, we pay attention to it, we know how important it is. But when it comes to justice, I don't understand. This is a man with 32 felonies, right? And he's running the United States. But these are the type of conversations he'll sit on a podcast and have and talk about ages. Ages talking about 13, starting at 13. That's a susceptible age for him. 12 is too young. But 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, allegedly. But out of his mouth is okay. And we're wondering now why they want to hide these Epstein files so bad and don't want to release them. That's just my personal opinion, y'all. I don't know how y'all feel about it. Y'all let me know. We got to take a quick song break. After this song break, we're going to get into Marjorie Taylor Greene and her getting her final revenge. I'll be right back with that report, and we'll have none other than Ben Masilis from Midas Touch reporting on that for us here in just a moment. I will be right back after this song break.
Thought we were sleeping, but the spirit is moving. One weekend, only lost the Fox and the DHS. Yeah. She was playing checkers while we dealing with this mess. And it's pretty in the street, nurse with illegal heat, hosted in a holster, but they killed him for the feast. Stricter to the cities, call it Metropole War. You're knocking down the Constitution on the bedroom door. AOP is split, master screaming, what's the price? Juana Luna's on the stand, yeah, she's skating on the ice. Can I get a witness? They stripped the bill, they removed the clause. Crockett in the room, she's following the laws. Can I get a time? Yeah, he's feeling on the floor. They want the total search, we're coming with the best. Trump firing the chiefs while the streets are seeing red. They want the total search, we're coming with the best. Trump firing the chiefs while the streets are seeing red. Senior, yeah, he dropped the bomb. Said bringing home an in is a crisis never calm. Gestapo Grey Bovino, yeah, he's heading for the gate. Ellison is smiling while the judges has the fate. Not credible, they said that he lied under the low. Trying to lock the Tata City low. One sit in the goal, the rule is distance, persistence. Two way to the left, the likely alleys fighting back against the state response of death. Rise up! While the
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this next video. And like I said, this is from Midas Touch. And so this is Marjorie Taylor Greene gets final revenge on Trump after the Epstein File dump. So there's going to be a lot of coverage in here that Ben is going to be talking about as well, as far as these Epstein Files and what they have additionally found in them and what names are additionally in there. So let's go ahead and get into that, y'all, and I'll meet y'all in the chat.
Her revenge at Donald Trump now that at least 3 million Epstein documents have been released that are absolutely devastating to Donald Trump and other right-wing oligarchs who are friends with Donald Trump. We still believe the Department of Justice is withholding at least 3 million more documents from the Epstein files, but the 3 million that have been released, thanks to the pressure of the public forcing these to be released, has been devastating to Donald Trump and his regime. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene has posted the following. Well, based on files released and then deleted, I'd say the odds went up on bombing Iran. It is Friday after all, and she's referring to these documents which were posted and deleted, and the Midas Touch Network was the first to show these documents publicly, and then we were the first to call out that the Trump regime deleted these documents. And then after there was public pressure because we exposed the fact that they deleted them, they then put them back up later in the day. And you can check out the document on our Substack, MidasPlus.com. Go and check it out right now. Here's what we posted earlier in the day. The new Epstein Files production features numerous allegations made against Donald Trump and others. Then you take a look at what some of these allegations were, and they are heinous. It says, redacted reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral sex. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. Another person says, Jane Doe. These are all allegations, by the way. I'm not saying they're corroborated, but these are in the files. They are these allegations, whether they're corroborated or not corroborated. And then the DOJ deleted it and then put it back up. Jane Doe reported that she has a friend, Jane Doe, who was a personal assistant to Epstein in Florida from 1986 until 1991 or 1992. This friend shared the names of some guests of Epstein parties, to include Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Next one. At age 16, while modeling, Caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, Caller reported that she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. Then it says, on another occasion, 2 twin brothers, she said, lured her. And there's this email right here. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. These allegations state he measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering. I mean, it's really horrific stuff in here. You can go and read them on MidasPlus.com. And then there's another email right here sent between the FBI agents. And these are FBI agent emails to other FBI agents, including the following allegations. And it says, subject, regarding Epstein cellmate interview. So these have something to do with a cellmate interview. Hello, please see below for summaries. And this comes from cellmate interviews. And here's what was said about Donald Trump. Jane Doe stated Epstein introduced her to Trump, who subsequently forced her head down his exposed penis, which is subsequently bit. In response, Trump punched her in the head and kicked her out. Another one, another allegation. Jane Doe remembers Epstein introduced her to Trump saying, this is a good one, huh? And Trump responded, yeah. There's also in these files that were released, I'll pull it open right here, what's called an FBI 302 report. This is a witness interview with FBI agents. Here's what it says. Jane Doe never dated Donald Trump. Maxwell took Jane Doe to a party in New York. Maxwell seemed very excited that there would be a lot of great men for Jane Doe to meet. Jane Doe felt that Maxwell presented her and gave a rundown of so-and-so's accolades, similar to a CV. Maxwell presented Jane Doe to Trump, and they had a conversation for approximately 20 minutes. Jane Doe was invited to Mar-a-Lago, where she was given a tour by Trump with Epstein and Maxwell present. Nothing happened between Jane Doe and Trump. By the things that Maxwell said, it was made clear that so-and-so was available. Maxwell said things like, oh, I think he likes you. Aren't you lucky? This is great. There was an article that came out with Jane Doe and Trump. Jane Doe thought she was around 22 years old. Jane Doe was given suggestions on things to wear. Maxwell said things like, oh, he'll like that. He doesn't like that. It was set up very much like how Maxwell introduced others to Epstein. And then Jane Doe said she feared Maxwell. She viewed Maxwell as sociopathic, and she feared Maxwell could kill her if Maxwell was not convicted. More from Marjorie Taylor Greene right here. She posted this video of herself dropping the following bombshells on Trump, and also saying that she believed that Epstein, that in the files it would show that Epstein had links to the Mossad in Israel. Here, play this clip.
Let's talk about the Epstein files.
The real information has not come out. We've been told so many lies on this. There were only 4 Republicans, 4 of us, that really fought to get them released, signed the discharge petition, went against the White House, and we were all threatened, and you all saw what happened to me. Finally, Donald Trump called me a traitor. He told me that his friends would get hurt. And to me, I'm like, I don't know why you would be friends with anyone that would do this to women and teenage girls. The Epstein files need to come out. They're breaking the law that Donald Trump signed. And so if the administration doesn't release it all, I can't imagine why anybody would vote for Republicans. To me, it's like a line in the sand. And I think it's that way for a lot of people.
Why do you think they're hiding them?
I think it's because it protects some of the most rich, powerful people. I think we know Jeffrey Epstein was definitely some sort of part of the intelligence state. I think we know he was working with Israel. He was working closely with Israel, former prime minister of Israel. And I think these are the dirty parts of government and the powers that be that they don't want the American people to know about. Sadly, I don't think it'll come out.
And we did see in the files that were released the fact that Epstein was emailing the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, saying that Epstein had a meeting with the leaders of Qatar, and if Ehud Barak could let them know, and then Epstein did a smile face emoji, that he was not a member of the Mossad. And then he did like smiley face emoji, like he was being sarcastic. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is getting her final revenge on Donald Trump right now, and talking about the broader cabal right here. I mean, take a look at this exchange, as Sarah Longwell writes, where Epstein appears to be coaching Steve Bannon on language that allows Trump to be seen in total control. This appears in different times throughout the files that were released. Epstein's name is redacted in one and Bannon seems to be in another. So the redactions were done very sloppy here. And talking about the Trump cabal here, Elon Musk sent the following in an actual email to Epstein. What day night will be the wildest party on your island? This is a real email from Elon Musk to Jeffrey Epstein. What day night will be the wildest party on your island? So remember, Elon Musk is like, oh, I would never visit that. I would never visit that. Also, you have this tweet by Elon Musk addressing allegations that Jeffrey Epstein toured SpaceX appears to be a lie. Back on July 4th of 2020, Elon Musk writes, to the best of our knowledge, he never toured SpaceX. But we have this email right here of Jeffrey Epstein telling Elon Musk, thanks for the tour. You would have had fun at Christmas. And then Elon Musk goes, I see, smiley face emoji right there. And then there's a lot of other, in a 2012 email chain, Kimball Musk, the brother of Elon Musk, was warned not to harm Jeffrey Epstein's girl, identified as Jennifer. And Kimball responds by agreeing and says he's enjoying the time with her. Or here you have Epstein talking to the New York Giants football team owner, Steve Tisch, about setting him up with a girl, then asking him to accompany him on a walk with Jets owner Woody Johnson right there. And they're talking about a young Ukrainian girl and whether she's a pro or a civilian and whether she's a working girl. In a different email, Epstein followed up with Tisch after he'd connected with one of the women. Report just in, you did very well. She wants to go to the play. She's a little freaked by the age difference, but go slow. I will try to convince her not to return to Ukraine, having her crying at work. Also, I'll do another video on this. Howard Lutnick, who's very high up, is the Commerce Secretary. He's like all over these files, by the way. And as Sarah Longwell says, seems like the Trump administration has decided on their fall guy. You have Howard Lutnick and Epstein seeking each other's advice on who a nanny is, a resume for Lutnick's nanny. There are messages about Lutnick going to the island. There's messages about Epstein giving $50,000 for an award that Lutnick received. So seems right now you have Marjorie Taylor Greene having the last laugh, and she's declaring her final revenge of Donald Trump. Keep you posted every step of the way. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.midastouch.com.
All right, y'all. So I have just a few more videos that I want to show you guys. So let's go ahead and get into this next one. Still covering the Epstein files, which they have just released, almost I believe 300 pages of these files, and there's so many, y'all. But yeah, this is really disturbing to listen to. It's disturbing to know like that these are the things that happen that they try and cover up and keep from us, so it doesn't come out. But God is making sure everything that was done in the dark is coming to the light. And so, I'm a true believer in that. Y'all know I say that all the time. And it couldn't be further from the truth for me, respectfully. But I understand people believe differently. But yeah, these people will not continue to get away with this. It's all going to come back. The chickens will always come home to roost. So let's play this video real quick, y'all, and I'll be right back.
The Justice Department is releasing millions of documents along with thousands of photos, videos, and other files related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. The much anticipated document dump comes a month after Congress's deadline to release all of the files. Fox's Caroline Shively takes a closer look.
Now related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein on Friday, including more than 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images.
Today's release marks the end of a very comprehensive document identification and review process to ensure transparency to the Americans.
With Elon Musk, including this email reportedly from Musk asking to visit Epstein in the Caribbean in 2013. But Musk posted on X last year, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island and I refused. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says the White House is not involved in the review or release of any of the documents. A Fox review of the files found President Trump's name mentioned hundreds of times with no indication of any criminal wrongdoing.
Has every document that mentions the word Trump been released? Yes or no? We need answers.
We did not protect President Trump. We didn't protect or not protect anybody.
There are multiple redactions in Friday's release, but the Justice Department claims they're to protect victim identities and ongoing investigations.
There's not some tranche of super secret documents about Jeffrey Epstein that we're withholding.
The House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed numerous members of Epstein's inner circle to testify, including convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell.
And this whole investigation is not just about the crimes, but about the cover-up as well.
The House could vote as early as next week on contempt of Congress charges for Bill and Hillary Clinton, who have defied a subpoena to appear before the Oversight Committee over their contacts with Epstein. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Hey.
Okay, y'all, so we're going to go ahead and get into this next video here. This is another short report as well. So as y'all know, or if you don't know, they're having problems with the spending deals, okay? So they cannot come up, of course, with any agreements when it comes to the funding per usual. And so they're moving towards another government shutdown. The Senate is trying to avoid the government shutdown, but you know, this is what they do when they cannot agree. They try and shut everything down. So I just want to show y'all that quick report. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and get into Kanye West. And this is going to be a very comical video from one of my other favorite content creators. We'll play that in just a minute. Reese Waters. But yeah, Kanye is he's come out now and he's saying that he is sorry. And he's apologizing for his comments that he has made over the years. And sadly enough, he seems to be blaming it on head trauma or mental illness. And so we never want to laugh at that or take that lightly because we can't be sure, you know. But it all seems kind of convenient at the time. Anyway, we'll get into that in just a moment. Let's listen to a little bit of this government shutdown that they're trying to avoid us from going into.
A bipartisan spending deal to avert a partial government shutdown is now passed. Senate Democrats reached an agreement with President Trump Thursday night to separate DHS funding from the rest of the spending measures and fund the agency for 2 weeks. The compromise hit a snag earlier yesterday when Republican Lindsey Graham put a hold on the vote.
The clock is ticking, the nation is waiting, and the abuses of ICE must come to an end.
Hold the people accountable in ICE who may have broken the law, but stand up for those in the field trying to protect America.
The 2-week extension for the Department of Homeland Security was put in to work on new rules for federal agents involved in ICE operations. The lower chamber is set to return to Washington on Monday to approve that bill.
All right, y'all. So now we're going to go ahead. We got to take another quick song break. Right after the break, we're going to get into this Kanye West story, okay, from none other than Reese Waters. I will be right back with you guys. Thank you so much for rocking with me. I'll see y'all in just a bit.
Yeah. You thought you was safe? Yeah. You thought you was safe or good. Everybody looking for a home, looking for a click, looking for a place where the realness sticks. We out here building, trying to be free, but you just here to use them plain to see. I see you a user, a culture vulture, a leech, acting like you love the speech just so you can preach. You see the glow, you wanna get near it. You hear the soul, you try to engineer it. Wanna be in the circle, get the benefits, but you ain't put the work in. You just counterfeit. You a political operative, smiling in their face, just a snake in the grass, trying to take their place. We out here searching for a tribe, trying to be free, trying to live our best life, but the snakes stay close, wearing a disguise. Now you got mad, showed your true self, no surprise. You been pop, dumb bitches, read your rights. You been pop, dumb bitches, read your rights. Yeah. It's the activist in me that's gotta speak the truth. I'm allergic to the fake, been like this is my youth. See them in the comments, singing all the praise. Go sis, go, while they plotting in the haze. Plotting on a downfall, plotting on a spot. Thinking they can use a light to get what they ain't got. But you can't use a mirror, you can't use a queen. Your whole entire persona is a fucked up scene. You a resource sucker, energy drain. They bring the clouds, we just trying to bring the rain. But we see you, yeah, we see you. Your little mask is cracked and now you cornered, about to see how you act. For a tribe, trying to be free, trying to live our best life, but the snakes stay close, wearing a disguise. Now you got mad, showed your true self, no surprise. You been pop, dumb bitches, read your rights. You been pop, dumb bitches, read your rights. These people don't care about your life or your struggle, they just wanna break you down and make your hustle tumble. Now we see the true colors at the core of these people. Their whole foundation is evil. We at war and we question these people. Gold in his love for her people, and I've been trying to warn people. This is the ugly truth of the world. Watching all the snakes uncurl, here's the revelation, the part you should've known. A person's real character is when their anger's shown. You got pressed, you got mad. And all that fake ass love you had turned to poison. Jealousy and spite, they hate cause you that bitch is shining too bright. You ain't no friend, you just a hater in disguise. Walk past, head high, don't look them in the eyes. So here's the diss, you lost, you're done. Your fake support is over, your little game is run. You pop yourself, bitch, we ain't have to do a thing. Just sat back and watch you pull your own damn string. You been popped, you can't infiltrate this. Your mask is on the floor, go pick up your shit. We out, we out. You kid. Yeah.
All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and get into our final video of the live. So we're going to be playing this coverage with Kanye West, okay? And so he's come out now and he's saying, you know, he apologizes for some of the things that he said towards the Jewish community, to the Black community. He's saying that, you know, he did suffer a accident where he did have some trauma to the head. And he believes that a lot of his, you know, behavior is a result from that, possible mental illness, all of those things. So I'm going to let y'all listen to it, but we're going to let Mr. Reese Waters cover it for us because, y'all, he has some really great content. So if y'all haven't checked him out, please check out his channel. Go over there and subscribe, become a member, and watch some of the content because he's really hilarious. But let's go ahead and get into this and listen to what Kanye has to say.
When Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves, she just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
Yeah, that happened. Work for other white people. Maybe they were just light-skinned. Maybe they were just, you know, that was a bad one. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. I was literally just here talking about the MAGAification of hip-hop.
Hard drives whisper secrets they don't want to hear. Election goes in the machine, crystal clear.
Turn that off. Hey, man, you ain't see the flashing lights? Come on, that was just heartless.
How could you be so heartless?
Ain't nobody talking about that.
There are a lot of rappers who have sided with Donald Trump for all kinds of. He pardoned several of them.
Giving away pardons.
I mean,
giving away pardons to people, and that's why they were.
But I mean, what's going on there? What is it about these particular?
These are not the intellectuals of hip hop. These are not except for Kanye. These are typically not political people at all. Like I said, there's some in the hood. There's this notion of he's tough. He gave us money.
I am probably the president's #1 fan. And that's not going to change. And the hate or what people have to say, it does not affect me at all. It actually motivates me to support him more.
That is what I was referring to. And I do want to give a shout out to Ludacris. I didn't think he was going to get back. I didn't think he was going to get Saturday. They brought him back. It must be that Southern hospitality.
You're telling me that Ludacris is MAGA now? Okay. Just can't enjoy anything anymore.
Ludacris. How low can you go?
How low can you go?
How low can you go? Is anybody going to stand up?
Stand up.
Is anybody going to stand up? It's like, oh, when I move, you move. When Trump moves, I move. When MAGA move, I move. Like, what's going on?
Now move, you move.
Just like that.
They got you all over the flyer. Multiple different area codes. What's happening?
Different area codes.
You didn't want Nelly to have the #1 spot.
I'm coming for that #1 spot.
Is that what it is? You didn't want him to have the number one spot? Scheme, plot. There you go. At MAGA Fest. Ain't nothing about this glamorous. Nothing is glamorous. None of it. Yes, I heard they got you for chicken and beer. Out here acting a fool in 2026. But in that video talking about the magnification of rap, I did do an ode to the OG who started it all. And little did I know, in just a matter of weeks, we would be right here. Kanye West takes out a full page in the Wall Street Journal to apologize to the Black community and for anti-Semitism. Quote, I lost touch with reality. I would say taken to the Wall Street Journal to apologize to the Black community would be exemplary of that. I would. But go on. Kanye West. 25 years ago, I was in a car accident that broke my jaw and caused injury to the right frontal lobe of my brain. At the time, the focus was on the visible damage, the fracture, the swelling, and the immediate physical trauma. The deeper injury, the one inside my skull, went unnoticed. Comprehensive scans were not done, neurological exams were limited, and the possibility of a frontal lobe injury was never raised. It wasn't properly diagnosed until 2023. That medical oversight caused serious damage to my mental health and led to my bipolar type 1 diagnosis. Now, I think a lot of us remember Through the Wire. It was his first single. It's not my favorite Kanye song, but it's a powerful one. It's definitely a powerful one. I'll also add to that, I don't know why YouTube recommended this to me, but it recommended a clip from his documentary. Apparently was on YouTube. I have no idea why YouTube spit this at me, but it was him in the studio with Scarface, playing Family Business for Scarface, like as a young Kanye, and it really brought me back to how far we have in fact fallen and how meaningful he was at prior times in my life.
God show me the way because the devil's trying to break me down.
Bipolar disorder comes with its own defense system, denial. When you're manic, you don't think you're sick. You think everyone else is overreacting. You feel like you're seeing the world more clearly than ever, when in reality, you're losing your grip entirely. Once people label you as crazy, you feel as if you cannot contribute anything meaningful to the world. It's easy for people to laugh and to joke and laugh it off when in fact there's a very serious, debilitating disease you can die from. According to the World Health Organization and Cambridge University, people with bipolar disorder have a life expectancy that's shortened by 10 to 15 years on average, and a 2 to 3 times higher all-cause mortality rate than the general population. This is on par with severe heart disease, type 1 diabetes, HIV, and cancer, all lethal and fatal if left untreated. Now, what I will say to this is mental health is definitely something I take very seriously. When it's come up, which hasn't been that often, but when it has come up, it's something that I've spoken about, with people close to me, pushing through that. I myself have had struggles when it comes to mental health. It's hard to get in somebody's mindset and mind frame when they're battling themselves. But I think the characterization where he says when people call you crazy and dismiss it is a little bit simplistic.
I went over her house and we were joking about the Touch the Sky video, and I told her I used Pamela Anderson because I grew up on her. She helped, make me turn into a man, and looked like my dad was getting a little jealous. And I was like, no, I used to jack off to you too.
Because there were a great number of people that reached out and sought to get him help and treatment that he needed. And we know that because after being rebuffed privately, they went public. because of their desperation at trying to help him through whatever is going through. So I think it's an oversimplification to just say he was thrown away and called crazy.
I am a god. Everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was. A god. I just told you. That's who I think I am.
Download. They gonna take my data, ain't they? Oh, there go my identity. I just really want to see what I look like as an alien baby. You know those apps and services you still use, even though you know they're probably harvesting your data. And that Sophie's Choice has to annoy you. You got to choose between giving up your privacy and going completely off the grid. I mean, completely. That is all done by data brokers, by the way, companies that take all the information they can find on you and sell it. Now, legally, they do have to remove your private information if you tell them, but they make it as hard as possible because they want you to feel hopeless and stuck. Sound familiar? This is where today's sponsor, Aura, comes in. They do the hard work for you, constantly scanning the dark web and submitting opt-outs on your behalf. Now, there are other services that offer this as well, but none of them offer as many features as Aura for the same price. You get alerts if your personal info is found on the dark web, 24/7 monitoring to help keep your identity secure. And if anything does happen, Aura includes $5 million in identity theft insurance. You can go to my link, aura.com/Reese Waters. Again, and that's aura.com/Reese Waters to try 14 days for free. That's enough time for Aura to start scrubbing your personal info off these data broker sites automatically. And I want to thank Aura for sponsoring this video. The scariest thing about this disorder is how persuasive it is when it tells you you don't need help. It makes you blind, but convinced you have insight. You feel powerful, certain, and unstoppable. I lost touch with reality. Things got much worse the longer I ignored the problem. I said and did things I deeply regret. Some of the people I love most, I treated the worst. You endured fear, confusion, humiliation, and the exhaustion of trying to love someone who was at times unrecognizable. Looking back, I became detached from my true self.
Did your teenager develop depression, anxiety, or eating disorders after becoming...
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway. Kanye. I've been doing this more than you.
Doing what?
You ain't got.
This is where things get very circular, right? Because what becomes your true self? What becomes your true self? Like I can see your perspective that you became detached from your true self, but how long of an exhibition of behavior becomes your true self? I have no idea who Kanye West was before like 2002, 2004, 2006, I think is what this is when he's framing this. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I do know there's been a personality shift for certain that has been exhibited by Kanye West. But I would never characterize Kanye before we started to see symptoms that something may be awry as shy or not full of himself, with the extreme level of confidence bordering on megalomania.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
That's always kind of been there. It clearly, I'm not saying there wasn't clearly there was an escalation. No doubt. But when I talk about how things have gotten circular, what becomes your true self? And then too, I would say diseases whose symptoms prevent you from acknowledging their existence are
extremely nasty. And there's a great number of mental illnesses that fall into that category. Alcoholism and drug addiction fall into that category as well. In terms of they tried, part one of the symptoms that they deny, the denial of the existence of the problem, right? So, but again, to the point that I had made earlier about you being dismissed as crazy, well, that wasn't necessarily the case. There were definitely people who reached out and to try and help you, but if you're in a position where you refuse to acknowledge what's happening or that you need help, then you're in no position to receive that or respond positively to that at all. In that fractured state, I gravitated towards the most destructive symbol I could find, the swastika, and even sold t-shirts bearing it. One of the difficult aspects of having bipolar type 1 are the disconnected moments, many of which I cannot recall, that led to poor judgment and reckless behavior that oftentimes feels like an out-of-body experience. I regret and am deeply mortified by my actions in that state, and I'm committed to accountability, treatment, and meaningful change. It does not excuse what I did, though. I am not a Yahtzee or an anti-Semite. I love Jewish people.
It's been 84 years.
To the Black community, which held me down through all the highs and lows and the darkest of times, the Black community is unquestionably the foundation of who I am. I'm so sorry to have let you down. I love us. That's all you doing? No. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. No, man. We did whole. You was up there with Candace Owens pushing the George Floyd. Come on, man. Nah, we can't do that. We can't do that. See, I'm not even going to come out because, people are like, oh, he got to just in time for the album rollout. Here he goes, just in time for the album rollout. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a little bit more faith in humanity than that. I'm hoping that we're not, that would be disgusting if we went there for an album rollout. But that's all you want to get? They are the foundation of no acknowledgement of not slavery was a choice, nothing?
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Now, Kanye had asked for forgiveness, and I believe at the end of the day, there must be some acknowledgement of harm done in order to move forward in good faith. And as I sit here as a Black man, I mean, yeesh.
I don't think people necessarily understand what happened last week with the Make America Great Again hat. What are you trying to do with the message you're sending?
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all?
Yeah, there was that. There was that. Yeah. Kind of like the choices that ICE is giving out these days in Minneapolis, like that kind of choice. Yeah, that was an administration you empowered.
I'm not trying to quiet your voices, actually, so I don't want to say that in an improper way. I just haven't had the time to word it in the most elegant way possible. So that's a Stephen move. When Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
Yeah, that happened. Work for other white people. Maybe they were just light-skinned. Maybe they were just, that was a bad one.
Kanye West back at it again. His latest controversial remarks could land him in a legal battle.
I watched the George Floyd documentary that Candace Owens put up. One of the things that his two roommates said was, they want a tall guy like me. They want a tall guy like me. And the day when he died, he said a prayer for, 8 minutes. He said a prayer for 8 minutes. They hit him with the... If you look, the guy's knee wasn't his neck like that. When he said, Mama.
Ye spoke on a recent episode of the podcast Drink Champs, where he discussed the death of George Floyd and several other topics. The host of Drink Champs, NORE, has since apologized for the comments West made on the episode his team put out. He claims he didn't know Ye's statements were going to be hurtful to listeners. The podcast is no longer watchable on YouTube. Civil rights attorney Lee Merritt, who has represented the Floyd family, tweeted that they are considering legal action against West. Merritt wrote in part, claiming Floyd died from fentanyl, not the brutality established criminally and civilly, undermines and diminishes the Floyd family's fight.
Oh yeah, we can't forget the George Floyd slander. We certainly can't forget that. And you can't even blame Candace Owens for that one. But I'll circle back around.
Before I get out of here, I want to talk about race and the idea of racism in America and the world, and this idea that one or other candidate was going to be less or more racist than the other, or that America will be less or more racist because of one of the other candidates. Specifically to Black people, stop focusing on racism. This world is racist, okay? Let's stop being distracted to focus on that as much. It's just a f***ing fact. We are in a racist country. Period.
Now, I'm curious, was it a distraction earlier in your career when you were acknowledging it and, dare I say, weaponizing it?
I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a Black family, it says they're looting. See a white family, it says they're looking for food. And you know, it's been 5 days because most of the people are Black. And even for me to complain about, I would be a hypocrite because I've tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation. So now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give. And just to imagine if I was down there, and those are my people down there. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can help with the setup, the way America is set up to help the poor, the Black people, the less well off as slow as possible. I mean, this is Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of the people that could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us.
And subtle, but in even many ways more profoundly devastating, is the lasting damage to the survivors' will to rebuild and remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about Black people.
At a time when few people were. Was it a distraction then? And was it a distraction later when you were talking about the Jewish community? All good questions.
After wearing a White Lives Matter shirt to Paris Fashion Week, Kanye West called the Black Lives Matter movement a scam in an Instagram post he's now deleted. The White Lives Matter shirt was part of Kanye's latest Yeezy show, which also featured models like Bob Marley's granddaughter, who was also seen wearing the slogan. According to the Anti-Defamation League, White Lives Matter has been attributed to white supremacists and is a racist response to BLM. A bunch of people online were quick to call the shirt insensitive and dangerous, and we even saw some people leave the fashion show, like Jaden Smith. Kanye West responded by doubling down and publicly attacking his critics.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to get past. It is, just because it's such a visual. Like this.
My thing is we can sit and talk it out. I know they on your head, but you don't got to denounce me. Shame. Shame.
Yeah, that was you with DJ Academic. It's so much wrong with that. There is literally so much wrong with that. Which I want to circle back around to the Candace Owens of it all, because it's so interesting for you to frame your behavior in such a way as to say that you were sick, you were suffering, and that's why you were acting out in such a way. And what does that say to the people that were enabling and empowering you in those moments? That would be the Candace Owens and the DJ Academics of it all. What would that mean for them? That they were totally fine with it and willing to amplify and play along. It's not good. No. It looks as bad as being a right-wing influencer trying to defend the death of Alex Preddy when the administration walks away. Like, it looks that bad. And by the way, that's before we even get to your Yahtzee era.
Hell no.
There was the Super Bowl commercial.
Hey, y'all, this Yay, and this is my commercial. And since we spent all the money on the commercial spot, we actually didn't spend any money on the actual commercial. But the idea is I want you to go to Yeezy.com, YEEZY.com. And I'm gonna write it at the bottom of the screen. And I got some shoes, and that's it.
There was the Twitch live stream.
But this guy,
conspiracy theorist Alex Jones invited Kanye West onto his program. He's the one with the covered face. And the conversation was as offensive and harmful as you might expect.
You're not you don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
I see good things about Hitler also.
West has been saying and posting things like that for months.
Like, I'm tired of hearing I'm really, because I'm not. But I think by them falsely accusing people, some people are going to become Nazis.
I am. Now what? I am.
Now what?
Now I'm an Ari Emanuel.
There was the leaked documentary.
Am I lying? It don't matter! It doesn't matter! It doesn't matter!
And the forgiveness of the Jewish community is certainly not mine to give. But the ownership and accountability has to begin with divorcing your behavior and its association, which was made in your apology, with your mental illness. Because, as was said by a great number of people, so many who suffer in the same ways in which you have stated haven't exhibited any of the behavior that we just outlined. That's a burden that you must carry. And when it comes to forgiveness and trying to put out art and music and things like that, and I don't know of anybody who's saying you shouldn't be free to live your life, although those people certainly do exist. Just about anybody exists who has said anything, because the internet is a crazy place. But that generally isn't the consensus, that you can't just go forward and live your life. And if that involves creating and doing the things that give you peace, nobody's trying to stand in the way of that either. But when it comes to people's reflection on the art, the artistry, and the figure that was Kanye West, asking them to disavow multiple decades of behavior, which quite frankly predates when you even entered the scene, is a very tough hill to climb. And quite frankly, no one man should have all that power.
The clock's ticking, I just count the hours.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and especially thank you for all your fantastic comments.
Sewer rat may taste like pumpkin pie, but I never know because I wouldn't eat the filthy mother.
Hey, keep it clean.
We got a PG-13 operation here. We got a lot of young eyes and ears. And a lot of old eyes and ears. It's me. I'm the old eyes and ears. All y'all old viewers know, because even as recent as a couple years ago, if something was behind me, I'll just go get it. You fast forward to 2026, something behind me. Because I ain't turning around. And a special shout out to the mods for preserving the sanctity of the chat. I see.
All right, y'all. I just want y'all to hear a little bit of the ending. He always got funny interludes and stuff that he talk about at the end of his videos. But y'all really got to go over there and check out Reese Waters. Go subscribe to his channel, get you a membership, and watch some of his stuff. He's really dope. But yeah, child, that was a whole breakdown of like Kanye's entire career and things that he has said over that period of time. And so, you know, when it comes to that, we have our jokes, we have our questions, we have our, you know, comments and stuff. And Lord knows I have mine as well. But I will say, you know, and that's why I was putting the resources in the chat, and I put them up on the screen. When it comes to, you know, like mental health and needing help, some people really need help. Some people will admit to the fact that they need help, and some people may be in denial about it. And I think one of the things that really hurts and harms a lot of these celebrities is that when they become celebrities and they're making all of this money and they got these people working for them that are equally making money off of them and with them, they start to become stuck in a place where they're just around a lot of yes men, you know, people that's just like, oh no, you're fine. Oh no, it's okay to say that. Oh no, it's all right. Okay, you're just turning up. You're just having a good time, you know, and they may just not have a real friend that tap them on the shoulder and be like, hey, I think you may need to, you know, you may need to chill it a little bit. You might need to go see somebody or talk to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, something ain't right with this. This is not a good look. You know, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't wear that if I was you. But at the end of the day, people always going to do what it is that they want to do. We get that. But I do believe that a lot of these celebrities have too many yes people around them that just like go along to get along, you know, and don't even really care about their well-being. But we have seen, you know, in such a great display in this video, just and heard the things that Kanye has done and said, and I respect the fact that, you know, he's coming out and he's saying, you know, listen, my mom wasn't in the right place at the time when I was doing and saying all these things. And so sometimes when that happens, it's like, okay, you know, we can accept that, we'll take that. But what really proves that to be true is moving forward, will there be changed behavior? Like, are you going to turn it around? You know, and there are some things that you do and say that are unforgivable to some people. That's a thing too. And we have to respect that, you know. And so we can't be sure. I never try to like question or judge or speak on what somebody else, you know, mental health may be at, or what they may going through or suffering from. We can't be sure what somebody else is dealing with in their body, in their mind. But a lot of, you know, the things were problematic that was said and done. But forgiveness is always on the table, and it's not always up to us to forgive. I believe the main entity we should look to for forgiveness is God. You know, that's just my personal spiritual belief. I know other people may have different spiritual or religious belief, and that's always welcome here. Y'all know that. But for us over here, it's always, you know, God and stuff and Jesus. So if he's praying, he's asking for forgiveness, he's trying to turn his life around, then, you know, God may, that's between him and God, basically, right? Now, us as the fans and the supporters and stuff, we can make up our mind and decide what we want him to do. Do we let him back to the cookout, or is he forever banned from the cookout? We can't be sure. That is up to each and every individual. But I do believe sometimes as human beings, sometimes we got to just be a little bit easier on each other. And then there's times where we do got to be hard on each other, right? It's that balance of it all. So I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I know there were some triggering points of the video and things that we had to talk about that were not the best of topics that, you know, we want to discuss, but these are things that are real. We are pushing for the justice for the survivors of the Epstein Island and survivors that have been through similar experiences, even in just, you know, regular everyday life in their neighborhood, their household, whatever, right? That's always something that we need to take seriously when it comes to people who have been victimized and they have survived and they're fighting through that, because just like we talking about right here with Kanye, when it comes to sometimes mental issues or, you know, traumas and stuff, that traumas can lead to people having mental issues and needing to get back right, or maybe going down darker paths because some of the things that they've experienced that have been done to them. And so sometimes that's where the journey can start for people. So it all ties in together, y'all. It all ties in together. And, you know, I just try to be considerate of that and be of help in any way that I can, or the best way that I can. We got to keep pushing these things, okay? We can't let them sweep it under the rug. And yes, we will not be silenced. We will not, because these are our amendments. These are our rights to be able to talk and speak on these things, report on these things. And so we're very happy to have good news that the reporters have been released from jail. Don Lemon, Georgia Fort, and the other two reporters, I got to find their names so I can mention them in my next live. But yeah, we have some good news here on this live. So it ain't all bad today, y'all. It ain't all bad. But yeah, y'all know how to do. I report on the politics, what's going on in the world, the government, you know, pertinent things. And every now and then we'll throw in a little bit of celebrity as well. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I hope y'all enjoyed the live. We're going to end it with about per usual. And then I'll be back later on this evening with another live. And look out for my mama's channel. She'll be going live at about 4. And you know she's going to bring the prayer and the spiritualism and the uplifting good energy that we need so we can recharge and have the strength to get out here and fight. But everybody have a good rest of the day until I speak with y'all again, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night for you. I hope the rest of it is great for you. And it is Saturday, so everybody enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you so much for all the support. I thank you for rocking with me and kicking it with me on this live. And I'm going to see y'all and talk to y'all on the next one, okay? All right, y'all. Golden out.
Sickness spreads in whispers, and poison wells in corrupted. But a community with a strong immune system develops its own antidote. This is the cure. Listen. Listen, there's a venom in the discourse, a toxin in the talk, a parasitic agent feasting on the soul of the block. It spreads through the timeline, infecting the youth, disguising as poison. In the fragment of truth, it preaches self-interest, promotes the individual dream. Anything to fracture the collective, to poison the stream. We see the symptoms in the envy, the distrust that you breed. You planting seeds of chaos, fulfilling the system's need. This ain't about a person, this is about a constitution. You're a weapon of division, a tool of social pollution. Like, the agenda's getting bold. Why? Your people have been sold. Jig is up, you're the poison, the cancer, and the cold. You don't fight for the cause, you just lighten the load for the oppressed. Lie. Hear the conscience, see the fraud. Bye. Your whole damn act's a fraud. You're a symptom of the sickness, a tool of the trade. For every conscience that we take, you pull us from the shade back into the darkness. Fighting sister against brother while you collect the profits, then go poison another. You weaponize our trauma, you monetize our pain. Tell us to tear each other down for your temporary gain. You speak the language of the people with the motives of the state. Asleep a cell of selfishness designed to make us hate. But the body's getting stronger, the fever's starting to break. We can finally see the difference between what's real and what's fake. Like, my. The agenda's getting bold. Why? Your people have been sold. Jig is up, you're the poison, the cancer, and the cold. You don't fight for the cause, you just lighten the load for the soul. Yeah, the conscience, see the fraud. Bye. Your whole damn act's a fraud. But the antidote is unity, the cure is in the roots. It's the knowledge of the elders and the fire in the boots. of a generation rising that refuses to be bought. Recalling all the lessons that our ancestors taught. We cleanse the foundation, rebuild the immune to make the collective a garden where the real seeds can bloom. You can't poison a forest that shares a single source. We are the uprising, the unstoppable force. This is a conscious rebellion, a surgical strike to separate the healthy cells from the ones you're alike. This is more than a track, it's a call to the core, to protect the foundation of what we're fighting for. So let them have the clout, let them have the fake fame, while we reclaim the power that's attached to our name. Every word is a brick, every verse is a wall, to protect the community and watch the poisoners fall. So let the record show a community divided is a target, a community infected is a tragedy, but a community united is a revolution. In the golden rule, protect the people. Protect the people, people.